It's back to school time, and there's nothing harder than these goodbye moments.
You have nothing to be nervous about. I love you. Have fun.
Children separating from their parents, some for the first time.
Love you, sweetheart.
And parents separating from their babies.
Don't cry, don't cry. I hope she's okay.
Some sharing their emotional reactions on TikTok. Mom of 3 and content creator Sabrina Aubrey from Utah knows all too well about those first-time drop-offs.
Is she going to get lost in the school and not know who to go to?
Telling us her oldest daughter is heading to first grade and her 4-year-old starting pre-K.
Put this one in your jacket.
It's like you kind of have to trust in yourself and trust that you parented how you wanted to parent and that they'll thrive in school with the tools you gave them. And I think that's where most of the emotion comes from, is just hoping that you did the best you could.
One of her strategies, reading bedtime stories to her girls ahead of the first day of school.
Sometimes we cry because we're so happy that you grew up.
As millions of kids and their parents make their way back to the classroom after a long summer, experts say change can be anxiety-provoking for both parent and child. The CDC sharing some helpful guidance, like keeping up with daily routines, making sure to plan regular times for healthy meals, homework, and play, putting away electronics 1 hour before bedtime, and talking to your children about what they can expect. If they're nervous, let them know it's normal.
If I had to give advice to another parent, is just remind them that your child is safe and secure and to trust in what you've done so far.
Joining us now to talk more about this and how to spot anxiety as a doctor is ABC's medical correspondent, Dr. Darien Sutton. Thanks for being here,
morning.
Dr. Darien. Okay. Because this is tough
Deep
for
breath.
parents. I know.
Really
How
tough.
can parents distinguish between normal first day nerves and something more serious like anxiety or depression?
Yeah, Janai, I think it's important to understand that it's more common than you think, and it might not present as you'd expect. So anxiety is extremely common. A recent study shows that nearly 32% of adolescents experience some level of anxiety. That's nearly 1 out of 3. And I think it's important to understand it might look different. For children, for example, it can often present as physical symptoms, constant stomach aches that are unexplained, headaches that are unexplained, even frequent trips to the nurse while at school. If you don't have an understanding of why medically, it might just simply be that nervous feeling. Also for adolescents, it can be emotional or behavioral changes, irritability, withdrawal, isolation. So your question, when to tell the difference between when it's normal and when it's a problem, the main key here as a physician when we think about this is when it starts to interrupt their life, their schoolwork, their social performance, when they begin to get more isolated. That's when you want to start thinking about whether or not you need to intervene clinically. But even before that, when you notice those first signs, you want to start with a conversation.
And that conversation, I know you two are so good about having these conversations with your kids,
Yeah.
but I can imagine that that's really tough to just get that conversation started. So what are some good conversation starters?
Yeah, well, I think every child is different, every parent is different, but if you want advice from a physician who has difficult conversations on the regular, I have to remind everyone, good conversation is structured and intentional. So when that child gets home, for example, you want to start with avoiding closed-ended questions and you want to lean into open-ended questions.
Not how was school?
Exactly. If I ask you a simple question, did you do well at school today? You're going to say yes or no. But what was the most fun part? What was the most difficult part? You ask those open-ended questions, you wait, then you summarize what they've said, and then you follow up with questions of curiosity. That's how you maximize their input in the conversation.
That almost felt like you were asking me. I was ready to answer.
That's how I talk to patients. You got to make sure to allow them space to talk, and that's how you can start.
And I know one of Janai's is starting kindergarten. My oldest son is going to middle school, a brand new school. So I'm having all this anxiety.
Yeah.
How can we as parents model that, confidence and calmness to our kids when we're feeling all these jumbled emotions?
Yeah, well, I can understand that. As an ER doctor, there are moments when I'm nervous, and I also find that there are many moments when patients are nervous. And one of the ways that you can tackle this is understanding what's unknown. A lot of the fear resides in the unknown. You want to plan your day out step by step, make sure they understand and that you understand. You want to have your action plan as well. Understand your school resources, your administrators, your counselors. Understand where you would go in the event of an emergency and what your school can provide. Individualized education programs, 504 programs. You also want to talk to your doctors about screening. If you have concerns about intellectual abilities, you want to make sure that that child is screened, and then of course have opportunities for emergencies. 988, the helpline, and of course the emergency room if you feel like it's too much for you to handle on your own.
Good, important reminders. It's so much. It's so much. Yes.
Deep breaths.
Take a deep breath, everyone. We're going to get through this together.